Translation. Moreover, O Lord, the repetition of your appearance is the desire for all kinds of initiation. Your neck is the place for 3 desires, and your tusks are the result of initiation and the end of all desires. Your tongue is the prior activities of initiation. Your head is the fire without sacrifice, as well as the fire of worship. And your living forces are the aggregate of all desires. Okay. So let's go to text number 38. Somasturitaha savana nyavaskiti samsta vibedastava devatattavaha satrani sarvani surya sandis tvam sarva-yajña kratur istabandha. So it's talking about all his different forms of his body here, different parts of his body. O Lord, your semen is the sacrifice called soma-yajña. Your growth is the ritualistic performances of the morning. Your skin and touch sensations are the 7 elements of the agniṣṭoma sacrifice. Your bodily joints are symbols of various other sacrifices performed in 12 days. Therefore, you are the object of all sacrifices called soma and asoma, and you are bound by yajñas only. So there's a short purport. There are 7 kinds of routine yajñas performed by all followers of the Vedic rituals, and they are called agniṣṭoma, yajñṭoma, ukta, sodasi, vajapeya, atiratra, and aporyama. Anyone performing such yajñas regularly is supposed to be situated with the Lord. But anyone who is in contact with the Supreme Lord by discharging devotional service is understood to have performed all different varieties of yajñas. Well, it's a nice verse and purport. So let's go to the next verse, number 39. Namo namaste kila mantra devata dravyaya sarva kratave kiryatmane viryagya bhaktyatma jayanubhavita jnanaya vidya gurave namo namaha. O Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are worshipped by universal prayers, Vedic hymns, and sacrificial ingredients. We offer our obeisances unto you. You can be realized by the pure mind, freed from all visible and invisible material contamination. We offer respectful obeisances to you as a supreme spiritual master of knowledge and devotional service. Okay, let's continue. Let's go to text number 40. Or actually, there's a purport for this one. It's a very nice purport. The qualification of bhakti, or devotional service to the Lord, is that the devotee should be free from all material contaminations and desires. This freedom is called vairagya, or renouncement of material desires. One who engages in devotional service to the Lord, according to regulative principles, is automatically freed from material desires. And in that pure state of mind, one can realize the personality of Godhead. The personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, instructs the devotee regarding pure devotional service, so that he may ultimately achieve the association of the Lord. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10:10 as follows. Tesham satata yuktanam vajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. Those who constantly engages, or to one who constantly engages in the devotional service of the Lord with faith and love, the Lord certainly gives the intelligence to achieve Him at the ultimate end. One has to conquer the mind, and one may do it by following the Vedic rituals and by performing different types of sacrifice. The ultimate end of all those performances is to attain bhakti, or the devotional service of the Lord. Without bhakti, one cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original Personality of Godhead, or its innumerable expansions of Vishnu, are the only objects of worship by all the Vedic rituals and sacrificial performances. Okay, let's go to text number 40. Damstragra kotya bhagavam svavadvita virachate budara bhu sabudhara yatavanan nisarato datta drita matan gajendrasya sapatra padmini. O lifter of the earth with its mountains, which you have lifted with your tusks, is situated as beautifully as a lotus flower, with leaves sustained by an infuriated elephant just coming out of the water. Purport. The fortune of the earth planet is praised because of its being specifically sustained by the Lord. Its beauty is appreciated and compared to that of a lotus flower situated on the trunk of an elephant. As a lotus flower with leaves is very beautifully situated, so the world, with its many beautiful mountains, appeared on the tusks of the Lord boar. Okay, so the last verse, number 41. Trayi mayam upamidam chasukaram bhumandalena tadattadritena te chakasti shringoda ganena bhuyasa kula chalendrasya yataiva vibramaha. O Lord, as the peaks of great mountains become beautiful when decorated with clouds, your transcendental body has become beautiful because of your lifting the earth on the edge of your tusks. Purport. The word vibrama is significant. Vibramaha means illusion as well as beauty. When a cloud rests on the peak of a great mountain, it appears to be sustained by the mountain. And at the same time, it looks very beautiful. Similarly, the Lord has no need to sustain the earth on his tusks. But when he does so, the world becomes beautiful, just as the Lord becomes more beautiful because of his pure devotees on the earth. Although the Lord is the transcendental personification of the Vedic hymns, he has become more beautiful because of his appearance to sustain the earth. Jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gnana Salakaya Chakshushamritamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitami Bhutale Swami Bhutadana Tadadvant Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Guru Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchikopa Tribhischa Kripasindu Devacha Patitanam Pavanigu Vaishnavyo. Okay, let's just go through this a little bit. Review the translations. Go back to verse 30, number 37. So here it's nice how we're seeing just by the appearance of the Lord, it actually gives us the desire for initiation, which is a wonderful topic, initiation in itself. It's very powerful. We'll talk about that a little bit today, and how his neck is a place for three desires. We'll mention something about three desires also. So these are, you can see his tongue is like his prior activities of initiation. His head is fire without sacrifice, and his living forces is the aggregate of all desires. So it's very beautifully described here. And then here it's described how his semen is the sacrifice called soma-yajña, and his growth is a ritualistic performance in the morning. The skin and touch sensations are the 7 elements of the agniṣṭoma sacrifice. The bodily joints are symbols of various other sacrifices performed in 12 days. Therefore, you're the object of all sacrifices called soma and asoma, and you're bound by yajñas only. It's amazing. Everything represents all these yajñas all his different bodily parts, and yet he's bound by yajñas, and he's actually the object of all yajñas. So Prabhupada describes here how there's different kinds of yajñas that can be performed every day. Can you imagine performing all these yajñas every day? It'd be very difficult. We don't have time to do these things. There's a friend of mine, he used to live in Colorado, and I can't believe it. He wasn't really like a Vaishnava, so for to say, but he was like, they were into Ayurveda and healing and things like that. But every day he would perform a fire yajña right in the middle of his living room. He had this little fire pit and he'd perform fire yajñas every day. You know, it's like, I was like, wow, that's interesting. But here Prabhupada says that simply by discharging devotional service, it's understood that we have performed all different varieties of yajñas. So we're very simply given to us in the age of Kali, so it's because we're very unqualified, very short-lived, we're no qualifications, so many bad qualities. But yet this is a very powerful process, so we shouldn't think it lightly. So the next verse, 39. So his worshipable by the universal prayers, we could see, is so wonderful. The Supreme Lord, even as a hog, is worshipped. I mean, we don't see anybody worshiping a hog. And now we're reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam the appearance of Lord Krishna, and all the demigods are offering prayers to Krishna in the womb. Who offers prayers to people in the womb? We don't offer prayers to anybody that's in the womb. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is uncommon. Everything about him is wonderful. Even as he comes as different forms, like we see here Lord Rahadev and Kurmadev, and comes in all these matcha, comes in different forms. He's even worshipable in that way, so it's very nice. So it says here, you can be realized by the pure mind, free from all visible and invisible material contamination. And we offer our respectful obeisances to you, the Supreme Master of Knowledge and Devotional Service. So Prabhupada mentions here how we have to control the mind. It's a very important part of the Bhakti Yoga, is that we have to be free from all material desires, and that's vairagya. So this is why Lord Chaitanya came, Vairagya Vidya Bhakti Yoga, to give us this knowledge and detachment and perform devotional service. And he gave us the process of chanting Hare Krishna, so that we'll discuss that more. And Prabhupada mentions how we should conquer the mind, and we'll describe that. And it ties in, conquering the mind is very important, how we have to follow Vedic rituals. And the Vedic rituals that we perform today is very simple. We accept a spiritual master, we take initiation, and we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So it's very wonderful. And let's go to the next one. Text 40. He's the lifter of the earth, and she looks very beautiful because, this is really amazing. Krishna, he does uncommon activities. They're like illusory almost. How can an elephant be lifting the earth planet? I mean, how can Krishna be maintaining the universes? I mean, it's just amazing. How can we describe these things? It's very interesting. So he describes here how, I think it's in the next verse. It's one nice verse here. So, yeah, let's go to the next verse. It's very similar. So as the lotus flower with leaves is very beautifully situated, so the world with its many beautiful mountains appeared on the tusks of Lord Lord. So now we go to the last verse here. So these peaks on a great mountain become very beautiful when they're decorated with clouds. Have you ever seen that? It's very wonderful. If you go for a hike high in the mountains and you see the clouds are below you, actually, you're looking, it's very wonderful. It's like a beautiful mystical scene. So this is how Krishna, when he was in the form of Lord Boar, it says this become beautiful because of you lifting the earth on the edge of your tusks. So this is very nicely described here. So where is it at here? Sustained, is glowing by the peaks, more glorified, great mountains, decorated. Significant illusion. This word Vibramaha, illusion, as well as beauty. So this is a very nice verse, a word. Vibraha means illusion. So it's like illusory. It's mystical. It doesn't look like, it looks like the clouds are holding up the mountains, or you see, like, or it looks like, how can this big boar hold up the earth? It's very wonderful. So this is the beauty of Krishna. It's displaying himself, comes displaying himself. And here it says here, very nice end of the last sentence. Srila Prabhupada says that similarly, the Lord has no need to sustain the earth on his tusks, but when he does so, the world becomes beautiful. Just as the Lord becomes more beautiful because of his pure devotees on the earth. Although the Lord is in the transcendental personification of the Vedic hymns, he has become more beautiful because of his appearance to sustain the earth. So just see how it shows how we are part of Krishna, and we make Krishna beautiful, and he makes us beautiful. So the whole point is to become pure, just to get rid of these material desires and get out of this material situation. So let's go on here, and we have a nice image here of Dhruva. It mentions in that one first verse that we read today, Upasada, it talks about the three kinds of desires, like relationship, activities, and the ultimate goal. And that's his neck. That's the place of these three desires. So it's interesting, Prabhupada mentions that how the Vedic injunction is that we have to akama sarva kama va, moksha kama udardi. We have to become free from all material desires. Even if we have them, though, we should perform devotional service. And he mentions there that there's three desires. And he mentions those as one desires material opulence, and then he becomes frustrated, and then he wants liberation. And then after that, he wants to become transcendently advanced, engaged in Krishna consciousness. So these are the three kinds of desires. So the Bhagavatam is teaching us that whether you become akama, free from desires, whether you want to advance in Krishna consciousness, that's no desires, or whether you want material desires, or liberation, material opulence, these things. So you have to actually, if you're actually advanced in knowledge, then whether you have material desires, material prosperity, whether you want liberation, then you actually have to become engaged in devotional service, Krishna consciousness. So this is very nice. And we can see the whole pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, that he wanted some material prosperity. So he did that. He worshipped Krishna. And then when he saw Krishna, what did he say? Swamin kirtatosmi varam yache. So I don't want any more material prosperity. I'm fully satisfied just by seeing you. So just see how wonderful Krishna looked carrying the earth on his planet. Just by seeing that, it's so wonderful, it's so beautiful. So any form that Krishna takes, if we see Krishna, then we're so satisfied to see Krishna. And that's his kindness. He comes to display himself in so many different ways, just to enact pastime so we become attracted in that way. So this is what happened to Dhruva. He became so attracted to Krishna that all these things that he was after, he said, I don't want these things. It's just like broken glass. I found a gem. So see, indeed. But even though he desired these things, he attained the spiritual world, but yet at the same time, he got his material desires too. So whether you want material desires, all these things, and even if you don't want them anymore, Krishna is still so kind. He gives us sometimes what we want. So there's a nice verse that describes how Krishna is known as Urukuma. We'll get to that. So it's like those who have taken the shelter of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord, they can transcend the influence of these material waves. We have this hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age, and death. And we can even conquer the mind and the five senses. Because a person who is a pure devotee who surrendered to Krishna, he's actually beyond the jurisdiction of this material designations. And he's immediately relieved of material existence. And that's only just simply if he utters the holy name of the Lord once. So it's encouraging again for us in this age. So this is Sukadeva Goswami was speaking to Maharaj Parikshit in this particular verse about the activities of King Priyavata. And the king might have thought of these uncommon activities of this king. And he assures him and said, don't be doubtful of these wonderful activities of the king. For even the devotee of the personality of Godhead, everything is possible. So that's why the Lord is known as Urukumaha, This is his name here, Rukuma. It's a name for Lord Vamanadev. He performs wonderful acts. Just like we see Lord Radhadev, he did this wonderful act. As a hog, he smelled and snorted and he dived into the ocean to sniff out the earth. And he brought her up. And he looks so beautiful. Here we see Vamanadev. He's so wonderful. He does amazing, wonderful activities. Just 3 footsteps, he covered the entire universe. 2 footsteps actually. In his 3rd step, he had a place on Balamara's head. So this is wonderful glories. That's why we always chant the Keshavadrita, Vamana Rupa, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Or we chant it for Lord Radhadev too, Keshavadrita, Radhadev. And that way, so he assumes all these different forms, like a dwarf. And what does he do? Is he comes to take everything inauspicious away from us. So, just like Vamanadev, he tricked the demon Bali Maharaj. And we see that Lord Varahadev, he tricked or killed the demon that was terrorizing the earth and knocked her off her balance. So in this way, we see the Lord, he's all powerful and he performs such wonderful activities that we come and displays these. And we're so fortunate we get to read about them and see them here. So this is nice. So, which is very encouraging. Also, there's a nice verse that talks about not only to speak of sanctified devotees, how they're so pure, they can have such uncommon activities and empowered to do things, that even a chandala, an outcast who's untouchable, is immediately freed from material bondage if he utters the holy name of the Lord even once. So this is the power of Krishna consciousness, that we can become so empowered by Krishna just by chanting one name. So that's very powerful. So this is what happens is when we're chanting, our gross body is changing, and immediately the subtle body is also changing. Because the subtle body changes, then the living entity is immediately freed from material bondage. Because actually all gross changes are due to the subtle body. So when we're chanting Hare Krishna, the mind is becoming absorbed in Krishna consciousness. We're discussing the pastimes of the Lord in his various incarnations. Then we become purified. The mind is actually absorbed in Krishna and it's being purified. So this is what happens here. And as we mentioned about how Lord Varahadev talks, it says his tusks are the result of initiation and the end of all desires. And the tongue is the prior activities of initiation. So it's, as described here, even a low-born person, he can become a brahmana simply by the method of bona fide initiation. So see, all these things are there, they're part of Krishna, and they're all part of this yajña, the sacrifice that we must perform to become purified. So we see here at Krishna, we have his different, we discussed a few of them, Lord Vamanadev, and we're on the topic of Lord Varahadev. And it's described in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Chami Divyam Yo Janati Tatvata Dhyam Punar Janma Naiti Mameti Sarjuna. That one who knows the transcendental nature of his appearance and activities, he does not, upon leaving the body, take birth again in this material world, but he attains Krishna's eternal glory. So this is Krishna. He descends from his transcendental abode and he comes to this material world. So the devotee, simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the body, as we're here describing the body of Lord Varahadev and his activities, then after ending this body, we don't run the risk of returning to this material world again. So it's described how Krishna has so many unlimited forms to attract us. It's described in the Brahma Samhita that Advaitam, Achyutam, Anad, and Ananta, Rupam, so many different forms. But they're all still one and the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if we understand this with conviction, then we will actually go back home, back to God. So this is described. So we'll go and see here the other part of the original 10 incarnations of Krishna. And all we have to do is say, oh, this is Krishna, you're the Supreme then if you just say that, you're the Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, then actually you're just instantly liberated. It's described by Srila Prabhupada. So we have to have this faith that we can attain this perfect stage of liberation from birth and death just by knowing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there's no other way to achieve this. There's no alternative. If you don't understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then you're surely in the mode of ignorance, and you will not attain salvation simply, so to speak, by licking the outside of the bottom. You can't just come here and just dabble into it and not really take everything seriously and not really practice it. Just speak it but you actually have to do things. So this is the importance of devotees. They have to do this. There's a lecture where Prabhupada talks about that, how people are repeatedly dying and being punished. But these rascals, they don't care. They just think, oh, this is nature. This is how it's supposed to be. Why is it? Why has it become your nature? Actually, our nature is eternity. We should say, come and join this group where we learn what our real nature is, where you don't have to suffer anymore, where you can actually understand who you are. And this is what we're doing. This is the Krishna consciousness movement. But people, they become so foolish that they don't understand that you don't have to accept birth, death, old age, and disease. They say there's no remedy. We can't give you any remedy. You just die, that's it. But actually there is a remedy. It's called Krishna consciousness. But they don't know that. As you mentioned, that's the remedy. You have to become Krishna conscious. So if you really want to be happy, then you have to realize your original position of eternity. That we're actually eternal. We don't have to suffer. We don't have to become so absorbed in these ailments and this distress of the body. People making such a big thing out of it. So we have to find someone to cure me, find someone to heal me. Actually, you're eternal. You're spiritual. You don't have to do it. You don't have anything to do with these miseries, actually. Actually, you just get in touch with Krishna. You're the source of everything. Source of everything is Krishna. Is that person that's performing all these superhuman activities that you see. You can get in touch with him. If you get in touch with him, then you'll be free from all these material sufferings. Actually, there's no alternative. It's not possible. It's not optional. And the more you delay becoming Krishna conscious, then the more we're just put into sufferings in the material world. So we have to do it now. Take advantage now. There's no alternative. You see, so we have to take care of that. And that's how we get free from the material modes of material nature. So we see here, Lord Brahadev, actually Prabhupada, he said that ISKCON is like the appearance of the Braha incarnation. Because he said that we've only done 1% of our work. And it's all in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So now we have to demonstrate it. So that's why ISKCON is like the appearance of Lord Brahadev. He sprang from the nostril of the Lord, just like a little small size, and it became the size of the thumb, and then just huge, gigantic. And then it became bigger than the biggest, and still becoming bigger. So in every one of our centers, Prabhupada says there must be Artik, Sankirtan going on, or else Krishna consciousness will become slack. So we have to keep it alive. Just keep active in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, you keep very busy. Take a little rest if you're tired, and then chant Hare Krishna, and then invite people. And this way, we're inviting people, come. This is how you could keep alive. This is how you could become free from all your distress. This is how you could find out who you really are. Find out that your real nature is eternal, that you don't have to suffer. You don't have to worry about these diseases and get so absorbed in them that you become depressed. And life after lifetime, you're suffering the results of this depression because you had this disease. Actually, they were doing some past life regression, and they found this person was suffering from so many kinds of ailments, like mental disease and fear of falling, so many different things. And then they did some past life regressions, and it was like they went way far back. And someone or other, she was thrown off this wall or something, and had a fear of these heights. And then just by knowing that, going back, she was carrying that from lifetime to lifetime, not getting free from that and carrying that, fear and just absorption in material miseries and anxieties in this material world. But no, we just have to wake up and see, this is who you are. You're not these things. Yet you're actually eternal. You can see, actually, wow, I went back previous lives. That was me. And I went through other lives. But I'm still here. And I just, by knowing that, she became free from all her distresses, all the symptoms of her diseases, mental disease, frights, and all these things actually became free. She was freed from all those things just by knowing that. So this is Krishna Consciousness Movement. It's a group where we come together and we understand who we are. We understand who Krishna is and how to get back to him. So this is very nicely described. And Krishna is so kind. He makes different arrangements with his Yogamaya and his Mahamaya to engage his devotees in the spiritual world if he wants a good fight and display himself, do uncommon activities. He makes this whole arrangement. We know the story of the four Kumaras, Kursht, Jai, and Vijay, to become these big demons that were seen to Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. And Krishna comes, displays his wonderful activities, and wants to have a good fight and display superhuman. Look, his foot is bigger than the earth practically. It's amazing. It's like Krishna is so huge. So these wonderful activities and pastimes are being described in all these books given to us by Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada has gotten these from the Goswamis. We see the wonderful book Rupa Goswami. He's written this book, as I mentioned last time in class, but you're unable to see it. It's the Sri Laghu Bhagavatamrita, translated by Gaudacandra Prabhu. And it's very wonderful. It goes into all these different incarnations. You can see the different bubbles there of Krishna's different incarnations. You can see Nrsimhadev there and Vrahadev on the bottom. So these are all wonderfully described in this book. It talks about his different activities that I mentioned last time, Vida avatars, Guna avatars, and it talks about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here's a nice illustration from the book. It talks about how Krishna, sometimes he actually comes in the form of half man and half boar. So this is described sometimes he comes like that. And there's Bhumi, she worships him. And we read a lot of the wonderful prayers by the demigods and from Bhumi last time I gave class. So this is very nice. This narration is being described here. And actually Vidura's explaining this to Maitreya. And he's not actually distinguishing between the two different kinds, like there's the white incarnation and there's the red incarnation. At different times he comes. But he's just in general talking about his different pastimes. So he comes to rescue the earth. And here you can see a wonderful display of the different pastimes being illustrated in our books, Krishna Conscious books. So we read these pastimes. And even when you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll see these pastimes are there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even felt one time this ecstasy of the boar incarnation. I mean, he's like the personification of Yajña. And Lord Chaitanya came, actually, to give us a real Yajña for this age. And it's described how the Lord incarnates every millennium. And in this age of Kali, he incarnated as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread the worship of the Sankirtan Yajña, congregational chanting, spreading Krishna consciousness through every town and village. So this is very nicely described in our books. And so Krishna is, because of his mayam, that's a verse, one of the verses in this chapter word, it talks about how he's very affectionate towards his devotees. And because we're all covered by these diseases we're talking about, and basically the main disease is illusion, that we identify with these things that we're not, because we're eternal. So the Lord is always eager for us and wants to deliver us from the clutches of Maya and cure the disease caused by this illusory energy. And this is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who comes to teach Harinam, Harinam, Harinam Kevalam, Karunasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gachanata. That in this age of Kali, there's no other means for self-realization than chanting the holy names, chanting the holy names of Lord Hari. So this is like what Prabhupada was given in that lecture. He said there's no alternative. You will continue to suffer if you don't take advantage of the Krishna consciousness movement. Because this is what the material, it's why I like in the material. You identify with something you're not, you're going to suffer. Because it's not eternal. And we're eternal beings. So we're very grateful to Srila Prabhupada, who came in 1966, 50 years ago, and started the Hare Krishna movement in Thompson Square Park, where this is the picture where we first chanted there by the tree. And now they have a plaque there, the Hare Krishna tree, on 26th 2nd Avenue, and the devotees there go and chant too now. And Prabhupada came to the other side of the country, to San Francisco, and started the movement there. But he didn't stop there, so Prabhupada went all over the world to bring the chanting of the holy names of the Lord to all people. Just this one thing, like that verse in the Bhagavad Gita, all purposes served by a small well can at once be served by the great reservoirs of water. So similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served by one who knows the purpose behind it. So what is the purpose of the Vedas? The purpose of the Vedas is to perform yajña for who? For Krishna. So if we know that all these ritualistic sacrifices mentioned, these karmakata divisions of the Vedic literatures, they're actually meant to gradually encourage this self-realization. So that's, described in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that the whole purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is to know Krishna. So it's very nice. So we have to be intelligent enough. By reading these books, we become intelligent. We purify the subtle mind, intelligence, the subtle body, which is made up of intelligence. And we take up this ritual, this yajña that's meant for this age, then we become purified. We become self-realized, and we won't have to suffer in this mature world. So there's that nice verse from it's the 3rd canto. It says, "Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog-eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed in all holy places of pilgrimage, studied all the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required." So just see. So we shouldn't be astonished in the Chaitanya or in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It describes how we shouldn't think that just simply how by chanting Hare Krishna we could become, a holy man compared to an elevated Brahmana. So this verse affirms that it's not all of a sudden, but we've actually performed before all these Vedic yajñas, sacrifices. We've actually performed that before. The ones that Lord Varaha is representing. Somehow or another, we must have performed these yajñas. Otherwise, it says no one can chant the holy name unless we've went through all these different stages. So this is what we do. Just like one who is a lawyer, we understand that he went through all the different general education, went through the higher educations. So similarly, one who's chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's to be understood that he has actually performed all these Vedic rituals and ceremonies. So this is really powerful, these holy names. So this is described here. We must have traveled to all the holy places of pilgrimage. We must have took part in all the purificatory activities at those places and finished all the requirements of the Aryans. This is all described. So there's so many Vedic statements that describes how, anyone who chants the holy name, he becomes immediately freed from this conditioned life. And anyone who even hears the holy name of the Lord, even once, even though he's born in the family of dog eaters, he also becomes liberated from the clutches of mature entanglement. So we're so unfortunate to have this ability at now this age. And this is Krishna, he comes to display us. There's a nice verse from the Lita Madhava. It's spoken by Srimati Radharani to her friend, Lalita Devi. She says, "My dear friend, who is this fearless young man? He is as bright as a lightning cloud. and he wanders in his pastimes like a maddened elephant, from where he has come to Vrindavan. Alas, by his restless movements and attractive glances, he is plundering from the vault of my heart the treasure of my patience. So this is what Krishna is doing everywhere. In the spiritual world, he comes like a huge hog, his maddened hog. It's illusory. This is actually that one verse we mentioned where it said illusory, or it meant to, his concern, his affection, but it also means pastimes. And this is his illusions are like pastimes. Pastimes are like illusions. But this is where he comes. This is how it's described. That word that we mentioned earlier. This is what it refers to. So this is Krishna explaining himself. He comes with the cowboys, comes in different forms, different incarnations, just to plunder the vault of our heart, so that we can completely fall in love with Krishna. So here's another picture from that new book that came out, the Bhagavatamrita, and this is the original Krishna. And it's amazing. Here he is. Even though he's having pastimes all over the universes in different parts, even in the spiritual world, it's described that he never leaves Vrindavan. And this is his original form. And he plays constantly in the exclusive company of his coward friends. So this is Krishna. So we see this is the result of yajña, sacrifice, and we have that process to go back to the spiritual world. And Lord Brahadev is the symbol of that yajña. So we take shelter of him, of his lotus feet, where we his pastimes, purify our mind, so that we can become pure, take initiation, the Vedic yajña, and chant the holy names, which is the supreme yajña for this age, and then we'll become free. It doesn't matter what our position is, whether we're dog eaters, sinful people, illusion people, suffering people, we can actually become purified. We can become self-realized and realize our eternal nature and go back home, back to God. So thank you very much. Sorry I didn't need much time here for questions, but I guess if you like, you can open it up for questions and answers. Hare Krishna.
I am working on this.
Jai. I'm glad I didn't lose anybody today.
I have a question. Except I'm hearing myself echoed. Am I muted? You can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Nice class, Prabhuji. As always. I want to ask a question. You were quoting Devahuti, where that famous verse, a whole bhakta svatachato guriyan yajivakre vartate nama tuvam tepus tapaste juhu prasasna arya brahmana chunami granantiyate, where she's describing, how amazing it is that one who's chanting must have performed all these Vedic sacrifices, performed so much study of the Vedic scriptures, bathed in holy places, etc. But this was a long time ago. This was prior to the advent of Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya instructed Nityananda and Haridas Thakur to not consider whether one is a fit candidate or unfit candidate. In other words, Lord Chaitanya kind of broke the rules. Yeah. That it isn't required that we had done all these things. Everything is included in that special mercy of Mahaprabhu, that regardless of what we've performed or haven't performed, if we simply take to the chanting of the holy name, then it's as good as if we have performed all these sacrifices and bathed in all the holy places, etc. And everything is needed, regardless of where one is situated. Yeah. In this material world, what he's done or hasn't done, Lord Chaitanya is so merciful that just chant the holy name, and within this life you can go back to Godhead. That's my understanding.
Yes. That's kind of what I said, didn't I? Or kind of what I was saying.
You said both.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You said both. I just wanted to kind of clarify that. You actually did. You said both.
And what was both? What do you mean by both?
Well, you were describing that how we must have done all these Vedic prerequisites. So we must have done these things. My point is that, well, perhaps we haven't done those things.
Oh, okay, yes, interesting. Yeah, Prabhupada mentions that in the Bhagavad Gita. And you see, he does mention both, but that's interesting. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah, they're both correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I just want to clarify that, but nice. Yeah, you did. You said them both, and you said them both correctly. I just wanted to tie them both together so we saw that we have a kind of a complete understanding. They both do exist. But Lord Chaitanya is so merciful that we may not, I think in my particular case, just judging from such strong material desires, a birth I took, et cetera, I highly doubt if I performed lots of sacrifices and studied the Vedas, et cetera, et cetera. However, I do see other devotees that come to Krishna consciousness. It seems they have, like Ramananda, seems like they must have had some really pious past. Yeah. Because so young, they were so attracted. And they weren't so full of material desire. In fact, they very quickly and easily came to the realization the material world is just a place of suffering because of, I would speculate, because of pious activities performed in the past. But others like myself, I don't think I must have done much. I think I'm strictly a product of the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, me too. So, yeah, actually someone asked you, Prabhupada, about that. He said, Prabhupada, when we perform like Vedic rituals, sacrifices and stuff, it says that we've done that in the past. We've gone to Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said, I am your qualification. I am. He's given us that. So there's that, what is that, Kripasiti? And
Kripasiti, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we get that. So, yeah.
Well, Hare Krishna, this is Mahesh.
Hare Krishna.
I think now Hari Prabhu brought a very interesting point to consider, that many of us came to the Krishna consciousness movement because of Prabhupada's teachings and the powerful spiritual energy from the holy names. So somehow or other we became attracted to this chanting of the Hare Krishna, and I can see that all of the teachings that you have been teaching today are correct concerning the chanting of the holy names, which is more powerful than anything that we have experienced. But still, I can see that in my life and in the life of others that I have seen, there are devotees that have gone long ways from where they started, but still they have time to go. In other words, that still there are attachments to this material world. So. Mm-hmm. So does that mean we still have to perform this yajña for the next so many lifetimes, or can we become liberated in one lifetime? How does that work?
Yes, so we have to perform the yajña now, which is we have to really sincerely chant Hare Krishna. We have to just meditate on that sound of the holy names. Otherwise, it's described that if we don't become blissful and ecstatic in Krishna consciousness, it means that we're doing something wrong, that we're not really following it correctly somehow. So therefore, we have to really sincerely try to endeavor to really follow Krishna consciousness. I mean, I see people like yogis, following, they do their meditation like so seriously, and they're like really like into it, and so like they're teaching and people like very serious about it. And I was like wondering, geez, do I chant my rounds like that? Am I serious like when I'm chanting my rounds? Is that like the first thing? And I realized that sometimes actually no, I'm like chanting Hare Krishna, 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 doing stuff, going here and there. And and then I leave my beads because you can't keep track, so I get my clicker and I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So we have to really just, the holy name, we have that. That's our yoga. Just sit down and completely absorbed in the holy names, and you'll see how different your day is. If you just simply do that, like first thing in the morning, it's like our yoga. You do that very sincerely, seriously, just focused on the name, not distraction. And that's what the problem is. We are too distracted. It's like a society of mass distraction today. So if we can summon and focus on that one thing, it'll really help us.
Gauda,
Yes, someone has a question?
Yeah.
Nita, I think there was somebody else trying to speak. Just 1 second. Was that Carla Petit?
Okay, maybe after.
Just hold on 1 second. Was that Carla Petit trying to say something?
No, it wasn't me, Prabhu.
Okay, so that must have been you, Candida. I heard a woman's voice. I couldn't tell who it was.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's me. I would just like to add something to that, what Srila Prabhupada said in June 1976. When I was there, and there were so many other devotees there, Agniṣṭoma, Devi Dasi was there, and Srila Prabhupada told us that he said, if you simply chant 16 rounds every day and strictly follow the 4 regulative principles, you will go back to Godhead in this lifetime. And
Wow.
we just looked stunned. We just like, oh, that can't be. How could that be? And then Srila Prabhupada looked all around us and he said, I guarantee it.
Wow. So see,
And so everybody just, Jai, Hari Bo, Hare Krishna. And this is not just a dry formula. Krishna, by Srila Prabhupada's incredible mercy and Lord Chaitanya's incredible mercy, that somehow or another, we must chant sincerely, and without offenses, but still, Srila Prabhupada, he'll let us in, and then he once told us, I read somewhere, that, because we're so fallen, and that he said that I will somehow or another sneak you in through the back door of the spiritual world.
Right.
I don't know where that's written, but he did say in front of many, many devotees, about 300 devotees crammed in the temple room, that he said he would guarantee it.
Wow. Yeah, we can't be doubtful about the wonderful activities of Srila Prabhupada. As I mentioned earlier about that Maharaj Pariksit was telling, Sukadeva was telling Maharaj Pariksit that, the activities of Maharaj Priyabhata, and he said that don't be doubtful about the wonderful activities of Priyabhata. For a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is possible. So we see this, we can't be doubtful about the wonderful activities of Srila Prabhupada. And that's why I brought in that form of Ukrama means, this is where the Lord is known as Ukrama. Very wonderful activities.
Yes, we must have faith.
Yeah. It's the name of Vamanadev, Ukrama. Perform wonderful acts. Yeah, thank you. That was really nice. Hare Krishna. Any more comments or realizations?
I just want to say I'm also a big believer on that. I heard right from Prabhupada's lips in I think it was not Potomac. It was in Baltimore when Prabhupada came to the Baltimore temple, and he said that at the very end of the lecture. Just chant your 16 rounds, follow these 4 principles, end this life, go back to home, back to Godhead. I take Prabhupada at his word. If we do that with reasonable sincerity, come on, it's Kali Yuga. Look at our birth. But Krishna's considering all these things. Let's do our best. And I'm completely confident. I don't have any doubts. I've heard other devotees say other things, but that's my position. Chant your 16 rounds best you can. Follow the 4 principles very strictly. Associate with devotees. Hear the Bhagavatam. I have complete faith at the end of this life we'll go back to Godhead.
That's what we're doing right now, right?
That's exactly what we're doing.
We should all just say, I believe. Everybody, the whole auditorium, get a whole auditorium, I believe. Like they do. Jai. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. It's because of your belief that we're doing this today. Online. Jai. So any other comments, realizations?
Where are you, Gauda? Are you in your house? Are you at home?
Yeah. Can you see my back?
Yeah, you took us right into your home. That's very intimate. Thank you.
That's an original painting back there. The original. Krishna and Gopi's pastimes.
Nice.
I worship that painting every day.
Haribol?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
This is Carla Petit. I have a question. Back to Godhead. What does that mean?
Back home? Back to Godhead?
But where is home?
That's so we're describing it's home with Krishna. Wherever you are with Krishna, if you're chanting Krishna's name sincerely, purely, you're actually there with Krishna. You're in touch with him. But,
so we're talking Krishna in his two-arm form in Goloka Vrindavan.
Yep.
Whoever your Ishtadeva is, it seems that we're being led in that direction by Lord Chaitanya. So, but then again, there was Murari Gupta, who was a very close associate of Lord Chaitanya, and he was also pleased with the fact that Murari Gupta's Ishtadeva was Ramchandra. So, I'm not at my stage as such a neophyte. I'm not concerned exactly where I'm going, because anywhere there is good. Yeah. Even the Vaikuntha planets is terrific, but it just kind of seems we're being led to Goloka Vrindavan.
Yes, we are back to Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna's two-arm form.
Yeah, so
he said, what it's like you're here, and then all of a sudden you'll be there, and it's like you had never left.
I believe that.
Hare Krishna, I would like to, I really appreciated the class. And to everybody that commented, it was great. And on this last comment, I appreciate what Gauda said, because there's an old American saying from the pioneer days, home is where the heart is.
Yeah. Where is your heart? Yeah. Sometimes our heart is shattered and distracted, attached to things instead of personalities. Thank you. That was awesome. Bye. We hear the wonderful nature, Krishna's nature in the background. Must be Hawaiian bird. Back. Okay. Any other comments, questions, positions? Yeah, Ramananda, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Gauda.
Thank you.
Jaya, Glazia Srila Prabhupada.
Glazia Prabhupada. See you back in a couple of weeks. Hari Bol.